Welcome to More Than a Few Words, a marketing conversation. This is your host, Lorraine Ball. And what if I told you there was one metric, one measurement that would really help you move your business forward? And that the truth is, most business owners are not paying attention to it. Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. And to have that conversation, I've invited Jake Tlapek to join me. He's often called the Wizard of Marketing, and he's spent the last decade turning struggling brands into high growth businesses using what I really love, no fluff strategy, battle tested SEO, and a heavy dose of creative problem solving. Jake, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Lorraine. I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you, and I want you to tell me, what's the metric? What is it that business owners are not looking at that they should be?
Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of metrics in marketing.
Ooh,
A lot
yes,
of
there are.
metrics. And the one that I think is the biggest indicator of success right now and going into where marketing is going in the future is share of brand voice. So what does that mean? Share of brand voice or brand voice is how much you show up in comparison to the other brands that do what you do.
Okay, so obviously I want to be top of the pile. But you know what? I don't know any of my competitors that are hanging out going, you know what? I don't mind being in the number 2 spot. So we're all fighting for it. How do I measure it? How do I know that I'm getting my piece of the pie?
This is where the tricky bit of brand voice comes in, is that ultimately there isn't a perfect way. We are measuring out of 100 eyeball views, how many of those views landed on you? And unless you have access to those eyeballs, you're not going to have a perfect number. So we're going to have to amalgamate a bunch of different statistics and tests to kind of understand what piece of that 100 view pie are we taking away. And then we have to ask ourselves some follow-up questions off of that. But looping back to your question, how do we track it? Well, the good news is that every single day there's new software coming out. There's new opportunities in the technology space that are going to help us do this. Two tools that come to mind for me. One is by a legendary SEO expert in the industry. His name is Rand Fishkin. He created a tool called SparkToro. SparkToro is the definitive brand voice measuring tool. It takes a lot of extrapolations from the SEO era of analytics and pushes them into kind of our future vision, which is a lot muddier, a lot less clear, but gives a very good picture overall of platforms and different ways of searching for you and tells you that slice of the pie. Another tool that might be a good option is a tool called Search Atlas. It's more of an SEO tool, but they do have a brand voice tool within itself that is also another great option if you're focused on an SEO play.
You know, as you're talking about the tools, and I've played with both of these, and I do think they're good, but I also think for someone starting out, just looking at your Google Analytics and seeing how many branded searches you have is going to tell you whether your brand is even getting into the game.
Absolutely. If you want a toe in the water starting spot, setting up a free Google Search Console account to understand how Google is showing your brand, your website, your presence to the internet in response to their searches, and then seeing where you rank in that listing will also give you a percentage-based metric that you can kind of mix together and start to get a clearer picture, at least from an organic search perspective, of where you are.
So I've got a question for you, because this is one we've been kicking around a lot lately. One of the things that we're seeing a lot of are the AI overviews. We're
Mm.
not seeing the websites. We're not seeing the content. We're not even seeing, we used to see the maps and the carousels that would come up for branded search. We're not anymore. We're seeing these AI overviews that just pull everything together and give me what it thinks is the best answer. In that world, how do I keep making a brand play?
Fantastic question. And to be honest, if I knew the 100% answer on this, I would be a very wealthy man at this point. But there are some things that we've been analyzing and studying that do have an impact on how AI presents itself. Now, I'm not going to go into the details of the patents of how all of this works, but the generalization is that when you do a search and AI is involved, it's not one search, it's 30. And it's going to make variants of your search. It's going to amalgamate or bring that data together and then do one final search to give you the answer. So, two of the key factors in that is one, are you answering variants of the same question multiple times? Yes, that's a big one. You might ask a question that says, if you worked with, or if you're a lawyer, maybe you say, "What do I do if I get a DUI?" Or maybe a variant to that question is, "What do I do if I get a DUI on a motorcycle?" Slightly different answers to the same question.
Yes. How do I prepare for a DUI case? What should I tell my lawyer about my DUI? I totally get it that you're answering the same question, but you're not. And it's funny, when I was in the heating and air conditioning business, I used to work with a lot of my clients and complain that there was nothing new under the sun, and I was essentially rewriting the same stuff over and over again. And little did I know, as I was getting ready for ChatGPT.
You were.
Yeah.
You were. So that's the first one, and that's honestly probably the easier of the two options. The second piece is that ChatGPT or LLMs, large language models, are a pattern recognition based tool. And so the more a pattern appears in their data, the more likely it's going to be used as an output. So getting your brand mentioned on more websites on the internet, so it has more individual touch points that reference your brand, that is also going to help you show up in more AI results.
Wow. Okay. So that one is easy. If you're a podcast guest, start being a guest on lots of podcasts. If you're writing blogs, do blog swaps, as long as you're getting credited as the author.
Absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So it's not so scary. When you start talking about brand voice and metrics, and it seems a little overwhelming. If there was one more thing that I could do to strengthen my brand voice, what would you tell me to do?
This is the tough one. You got to get active on social media, specifically video. Every video is getting transcribed and utilized, not just by search, but also by LLMs. And so these videos that you put out are an investment in those AI opportunities.
Awesome. All right. I have a long list of things that I need to do. And my guess is that my listeners do too. And so what we want to do is make sure that they can find you if they want to learn more. So I am going to send them to finch.com, finch.com, if they've got questions about this and other SEO topics.
Absolutely. I would love to connect with you there.
Awesome. Well, Jake, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
And thanks for having me. It's a blast.
It's a lot of fun. And if you are looking for more conversations like this, look for MTFW wherever you listen to podcasts. Head over to More Than a Few Words to find all of the conversations in our archives, along with workbooks and webinars to help you improve your marketing. This has been another episode of More Than a Few Words. Thanks for listening.